All Blacks squad for the Rugby Championship. It's going to be an interesting one because there's not many games to go for the All Blacks before World Cup. There's not that many new combinations that you'd be able to embed. You got to get the feeling that Steve Hansen's probably got a fair idea of his squad at this point. Who's going to play come the big games at World Cup time? There's not going to be a whole lot of experimentation, but I've picked a team that I would like to see play. I'm not saying it is the best. It's definitely not, in terms of experience, the best team that the All Blacks would be able to put out on the park. But just in terms of World Cup prep, it is a team that I would like to see have a go, see what works and what doesn't, because there's only one way that some of these guys will be able to prove themselves, and that is in the black jersey. So I'll go through the squad. It's not. I kind of tried to balance out picking something a bit different, but also some stability, because the All Blacks are never really ones to suddenly, apart from that Japan game last year, to really kind of change half the squad. But yeah, I'll pick a squad. You guys can have a look. Tell me what you think works and what doesn't, and maybe if you want, you can also pick your own 15 or 23 that you'd like to see get a run before World Cup time. So front row, I've gone Crusaders. I've gone Moody, Taylor, and Franks. So that's kind of a core stability thing. You know these guys are going to put in a shift. Some people highlight a bit of Moody coming under a bit of scrum pressure at times in the Super Rugby season, so it'd be good to see him put a shift in once again at the black jersey. But they're not really going to get dominated for the most part. That's pretty stable. So yeah, it's kind of hard to argue with that. Locks, I've gone with Retallick and Whitelock. Again, that's not a pair that needs any more time together, because they are one of the best locking duos in the world. But again, with Scott Barrett out, and in terms of keeping something stable, I thought I'll put those two guys in. Plus, Retallick's had a bit of time off, so it'd be good for him to kind of get back in with Sam Whitelock and get back in the groove. Loose forwards, I've gone with Fafita at 6, Savia at 7, and Reed at 8. With the Super Rugby season the way it's gone, they're not going to be able to play all the Crusaders guys all throughout the Rugby Championship. They've already talked about resting some of them, so Reed will get a break, but I'll put him in this one alongside Savia and Fafita. Fafita wants to play 6, let him play 6, show us what he can do. He has shown it before, and then they kind of messed about with him at lock, but put him at 6 and give him a chance to really show what he can do, especially because Frizzell's picked up a knock. Savia has been outstanding at 7, so give him a chance at 7, and then Reed is just kept him fantastic at 8. In the backs, I've gone Aaron Smith at 9. There's a lot of calls for TJ Perenara, which is fair, but I thought if you're going to play Smith, you pretty much start Smith, so I put him in. I've put Mo'unga at 10, because before World Cup time, I want that guy to at least get one or two more starts at 10. He had that start in the game against Argentina. Was it Napier? Wasn't his best game. The guy's class for the Crusaders, just needs a little bit more time starting in black, and with a game that actually means something. I know there's that game against Tonga coming up, which I think he might get a start in, but I want it to be a very important game with the added pressure, not a friendly, even though it's never that friendly, for him to get a game. Midfield, I've gone with Anton Leonard-Brown and Goodhue from the Crusaders. So Goodhue's been played regular 13, which is more than you can say for a lot of the other guys in the All Blacks framework. So put him in at 13. ALB's with that distribution been phenomenal. Crotty's injured, so let's see how they go together. Back 3, still Rico Ioane on the left wing. Put Geordie Barrett at fullback because he's had glimpses. Ben Smith's going to do a job, so give him an extra week off. And George Bridge on the right wing, again, give him a bit of a crack. He's had a little bit of time in black, but could use a touch more just to show us what he can do. There's so many guys who are experienced, who are pretty settled. I'm not sure if Sever Reece with his defence is quite there, so give Bridge a go. I think in the first instance, give him kind of one spot up in the pecking order. In terms of the bench, I've gone with Dane Coles because I think he's shown he can add something from the bench as well. Also needs a bit more game time. 2 Blues players, and Tuanga Fasi and Tui Nukuafe, I think can do a job from the bench. That seems to be where they perform best for the Blues as well. They did try that for a part of the season where they emulated the fact that bring them on as the bench guys. That's what they do for the All Blacks, and it seemed to work. So try that there. Hemopo also needs a bit of time. He's going to be that lock cover if Scott Barrett's not available, so give him a run. I kind of ummed and ahed about what to do with the extra loose forward. Give Sam Cane a go. The guy's come back from injury and seem to hit the ground running. But give him a crack as well, because if you... With that back row, I mean, you could put Savia pretty much anywhere if you want to bring Kane on. You could move Savia to the blind side or to number 8 if you want to replace Reed or whatever. He'll be fine. So give Sam Cane a bit of time. I was thinking Frizzell, but injury. So Perenara, I think you can guarantee some impact from him from the bench. Bowden Barrett I've put on the bench as well to cover 10. I do like the idea, because I've also put Laumape on the bench, of at like 60 minutes you bring on Perenara, you bring on Barrett, and you bring on Laumape. Plus Dane Cole, so like that's 4 Hurricanes. And like those are all guys who definitely would add something from the bench. Barrett with that bit of gas, Laumape with that bit of punch through. Perenara very physical as well, so yeah, I do like to see that. I would like to see that team get a run. I don't think it will happen. Obviously, Hansen's got his hands full managing the squad with the guys who made it all the way through to the final. And I think they're probably going to be getting their World Cup combos sorted more than experimenting. So it is probably a bit too experimental for the All Blacks, but it's something I'd like to see happen. As I said, you guys let me know your thoughts on guys you would like to see get a run before the World Cup. Because, yeah, it is not that far away. But, yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.